Hey guys, I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking about one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably my favorite movie at the moment. I mean, it used to be Your Name, you know, but lately I've been thinking a lot about my love for La La Land. It's the only movie that I owned a movie and a soundtrack for. Um, I, 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 I just, it gets a lot of hate, you know, but I love this movie. I hold it very dear to my heart. The movie's a musical about a struggling jazz musician and a struggling actress, and it takes those concepts and, to me, does them really well. Well, it does send this really weird message of how jazz is dying when it's really not, you know. But aside from that, the movie's really good, and you know, it's what got me to love jazz. Like, every jazz musician will take this movie, say that it's fake, it's trash, and I get where they're coming from, and I don't blame them because they know what they're talking about. And I know that the person who directed this movie doesn't know a lick about jazz. You know, they just chose jazz as a medium and went with whatever they thought. You know, but this morning, I was listening to an interview by one of my favorite jazz musicians, Donald Fagen. He's the one of the, well, I guess the last remaining half of Steely Dan. Rest in peace, Walter. I was watching an interview this morning with Donald Fagen, and in that video, he calls La La Land fake and trash, you know? And I completely get where he's coming from. The man isn't a jazz legend for no reason, but it hurt because this movie is the reason I love jazz so much, you know? And I guess, in a way, I took it kind of personally. I felt like he was calling me fake and trash. And I know what you say. What does it matter? You know? Maybe this terrible jazz movie was what got you into this genre, and you eventually became a great man because of it. And yeah, but I don't know. People, there's two types of people in this world, and there are those who will put down La La Land, and there's those who will praise it to no end. Yeah, I'm more into praising it to all end, but I'm willing to look into its flaws. I'm willing to accept its flaws. Like I said, I know completely where people are coming from when they say that this movie doesn't know anything about jazz. But I have such an emotional connection to this movie. And its themes are very, very real. Let's take a look. Example, Emma's story. Emma Stone's, the character she plays. Forgot her name. What was it? Mia. Mia. Emma plays this character of Mia as a struggling actress, you know. And the movie constantly beats over the head the idea of nothing is gained without anything risked. And I think that's a great message to send to people. If you're if you don't do anything, you don't risk anything, you aren't gonna gain anything. And yes, sure, sometimes you won't get anything out of it, but at least you took the chance, you know? So Emma's character, she makes a one woman play, you know? Initially it goes terribly, barely anyone showed up. Sebastian, Ryan Gosling's character, didn't even show up. You know, she took a risk and at first it didn't seem to pay off. But in the end she ended up getting the gig of a lifetime. You know, she risked and she gained. But later on, she did risk leaving to go to Paris for that gig. You know, spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it already, but I know why you would click on this video if you haven't seen it already. Is she ends up losing Sebastian, Ryan Gosling's character, by risking to go to Paris and attempting to kickstart her acting career. She risked, she lost something, but she gained something in return. I don't remember where I heard this or who told it to me, but someone told me you can't gain anything without losing something. Money in exchange for stuff, favors in exchange for other favors. This world runs on a system of trade, no matter what that is. And the more you're willing to trade, the more you put in, the more you'll get out of it. And I guess lastly we'll talk about Sebastian's character. Sebastian, played by Ryan Gosling, is a struggling jazz musician. And he takes Mia on this wild ride of finding how to love jazz. And I think that's why I fell in love with jazz, you know? Put yourself in Mia's shoes. You know, you're following Ryan Gosling around. He takes you to this jazz bar. You know, these musicians start ripping it, you know? It's great. Like, how do you not fall in love with jazz after what Ryan did in this movie, you know? So, yeah. And in an effort to, you know, keep food on the table, to stop being a deadbeat, he decides to stop pursuing his dream. He settles down with a band, you know, while he doesn't necessarily like the stuff they're making, he's making money from it. So, he doesn't consider it bad, you know. He traded his want for sustainability. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's his decision to make. And you can't really judge him for it. Because that's not really a bad thing to do, you know? In the end, he ends up losing Mia because of it, because he's never around, you know? And in the end, he does get his jazz bar like he always wanted. But he lost Mia. And that's the bittersweetness of it all. The movie isn't afraid to show the reality of the world, you know? And I think that's part of what I love about it. There's no, well, there is a sort of happy ending, you know? Mia has a husband, kids, a respectable career. Sebastian, well, we don't know much about his love life or personal life, he did achieve his one dream, opening the jazz bar. So he at least found success in that. He's obviously an amazing jazz piano player. And this movie was just a story about what happens when two people meet, you know? They might end up the rest of their lives together, or sometimes life doesn't go that way. Because it's not about what skills you have, you know? It's about what you do with the skills that you do have. They risked, and they didn't always gain, they didn't always succeed. Sometimes you got dirt in the face, you know? I don't know how to put into words. This movie means a lot to me. And I don't think I would be the same person I am here without it. Thanks for watching. Ciao.